We've already said that he's passed away this evening. The 50-year-old pop star Michael Jackson has passed away. This is according to the Reuters news agency and, of course, the TMZ website. This indeed will be shocking news for millions of his fans throughout the world.
It's hard to measure the magnitude, really, of how big this is, as I say, not only as a showbiz story, but as a general news story. Michael Jackson, outside of music, is a figure who attracted massive interest from when he was simply a performer with the Jackson 5 back in the 1970s to those solo albums which broke all sorts of records for sales, and then through to the more bizarre aspects of his life, the stories of illness that he suffered, the allegations of some peculiar aspects of his private life, and then those incendiary allegations about his relationship with young children, that trial that in many ways held the world's attention for so long. The fact that he was acquitted and the fact that he was able to continue his life as a free man meant in many ways for a lot of people, and certainly for his fans, who always believed that he could return to the top of his game, that he could return to what he was back in the early to mid-1980s. They thought that was a realistic prospect, and certainly the people who took over his management last year, and it was only last year that they started to get back involved and tried to sell Michael Jackson all over again. They talked of these tours, these sellout dates in London. They talked of a 3-year world tour with albums and movies. They really believed it could happen. All along, though, there were questions about his health and questions about how much a man who'd been out of the limelight, who'd had serious problems, had appeared in the last year or so very frail. He would greet people from a wheelchair in the last year because he was so frail. Those questions were there, and the difficulties about getting those dates confirmed in London appeared to prove that something wasn't right. And from what we're hearing now, from the fact of his demise this evening in Los Angeles, that maybe tells us everything about what had happened to Michael Jackson and the hugely sad ending to what was an extraordinary musical career that ended when those paramedics were called to his home in Los Angeles early this evening, took him to UCLA hospital, but apparently those efforts at CPR that they made, he wasn't breathing when they reached him. Those efforts at CPR have failed, and Michael Jackson has lost his fight for life, which will set off shockwaves around the world, no doubt, because, as I say, it's not just an entertainment story. Michael Jackson is a figure perhaps as famous as anyone around the world, even now, and the interest in his life has been huge, and the interest in his death will continue to be so.
Let's just reiterate, Greg, that we haven't had confirmation from any medical personnel at the moment. This is the TMZ website and Reuters news agency who appear to be quoting that website saying that Michael Jackson has passed away this evening. And, of course, he has 3 young children.
Yes, he does. Those 3 children, of course, they've been part of the Michael Jackson circus over the years. We all remember those images of him dangling one of his children over the balcony of a hotel room with his face covered. Very much part of the bizarre world of Michael Jackson over the years. Prince Michael, who's 7, Michael Joseph Jackson Jr., who's 12, and his daughter, Paris Michael Katherine. Very much part of his life, although, of course, it's been a difficult life in terms of his private life, in terms of his relationships. It's never been particularly straightforward. And, of course, with his own family, the family that was very much around him when his career was launched, when he became the star as a young man. He was very young, of course, back in the 70s when the Jackson 5, with him as the lead singer and him certainly as the leading star, began their career. So his children, no doubt, will, for many people, will be the focus now, certainly for those around Michael Jackson. And we know that some of his family were heading to Los Angeles already when this news broke, to be at the hospital to offer what support they could. His parents as well, of course, his father Joe, who is in Las Vegas, we're told, and had heard this news and was clearly worried in what he was telling reporters tonight. He said people in Los Angeles had called him, they were with Michael and tell him that he'd been taken to hospital. His mother was also on the way to the hospital to check on him. But one can only imagine in any situation, if this wasn't Michael Jackson, how difficult it is for a family to be dealing with this kind of news and certainly these kind of reports.
OK, Greg, let's just...
Michael Jackson and the public eye, even more difficult.
OK, Greg, let's just reiterate. This is the TMZ website in the United States reporting that Michael Jackson has died this evening. Let's speak to Captain Tina Harrow from the LA Fire Department. It was that department that responded to the emergency call that he was ill at his LA home. Very good evening to you. What do you know about Michael Jackson's condition?
Good evening, ma'am. First of all, I'd like to just state that the fire department, the Los Angeles Fire Department, is not confirming that we responded to or transported Michael Jackson. We did respond to a 911 call into the Holmby Hills area of L.A. at approximately 12:21 California time this afternoon, and we did transport on a medical call for approximately 50-year-old male to UCLA Medical Center. Otherwise, we're bound by HIPAA laws and state laws about privacy, and we can't give you any information on what we found, the condition, or anything like that.
I appreciate this is obviously very difficult for you, and you do have your privacy laws that you must adhere to. But given the nature of this call and the huge amount of media attention this is going to be getting, can you give us any more detail about the condition that the person that you picked up was in and his subsequent treatment and, indeed, the condition at the moment?
No, we can't give you any of that information whatsoever. We abide by the state laws, the HIPAA laws, and we cannot divulge any medical information or condition of anybody. It doesn't matter who they are, whether they're a celebrity or an average Joe. So.
Okay, Captain Tina Harrow, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
For that.
You're welcome.
Let's return to Greg Milam in Washington. Greg, let's just reiterate, we don't have any other independent confirmation as of yet. Just the TMZ website reporting that Michael Jackson has died this evening. They reported just around an hour ago now that the LA Fire Department responded to a call in Los Angeles and that the person there who the TMZ website reporting was Michael Jackson was suffering from cardiac arrest and had to be resuscitated at the scene. Well, we've just spoken to the fire department. Obviously, very strict privacy laws in the United States, so they're not able to really give us very much information at all, only that they did attend an emergency call. But it does seem at the moment that this condition is very serious. This is a very serious situation.
It does, and what they were able to say there, it does tally, although it doesn't confirm, of course, that they're talking of a man in the area of 50 years old. Michael Jackson is 50 years old, and the area that they collected him from is clearly where Michael Jackson lives. So, of course, they abide by the privacy laws that they have. In the words of the captain there, whether it's a celebrity or the average Joe, they won't confirm any more than that. But clearly the medical services are dealing with Michael Jackson. There's no doubt at all that he was taken to UCLA. And whatever else has developed and whatever TMZ are reporting, it is Michael Jackson we're talking about. I think it's worth remembering, of course, that the hospital authorities, the medical authorities at UCLA, will have a responsibility here to inform family members first of all. And if it is that Michael Jackson's family are heading to the hospital, they will want to be in touch with those people first, the next of kin, the nearest and dearest, to pass on whatever information there is before releasing anything to the media, and that, of course, is something that would happen in any case, and perhaps even more important in a case like this, where there is already huge speculation and a massive amount of reporting, and that reporting will be going on around the world. We can only imagine the reaction there is in parts of the world to these reports that are coming out of Los Angeles, and the hospital will have to tread very carefully to make sure that they do everything by the book with regard to Michael Jackson's family, and remember his children as well, and his former partners, and those brothers and sisters, his parents, that they're kept fully informed before anything is released to the media. But certainly we can say that TMZ has become increasingly reliable on stories like this, and of course any news organization or blog or celebrity site is unlikely to break a story like this, which TMZ is this evening, without having pretty good confirmation that is the case.